hey, we're about to go zip lining down to the bottom of the valley, which is really fun. And this is just another way I am able to connect with nature, and it's an eco zip lining tour, so all of it is very environmentally friendly, which is obviously amazing. My name is Chris. I'm 15 and I'm a climate activist.
Stand up, fight back! Stand up, fight back! Stand up!
We've sort of realised as young people in this country that it's our duty to stand up and fight for our future because the older generations just aren't. Hey, so I'm at my cousin's house having Christmas dinner and we're having prawns, which is an Australian tradition.
Lasciarmi cantare
Thank
con
you,
la
Fred.
chitarra in mano.
Tell us a joke, Dad.
What do you call a prawn who won't let you play with his Christmas presents?
A raw prawn.
What?
Shellfish.
Shellfish. So Fred, I was just wondering, what would you say is your number one advice for all the young people out there?
For all the young people, be ruthless and make as much money as possible. That's what you should do. But don't forget the environment. Don't forget the environment.
Very good. We do have a very laid-back culture in Australia, and in some sense that's really good, but in another sense, I think a lot of adults especially just say, yeah, whatever, I mean, it'll sort itself out, and if it doesn't, who cares? And I guess that is, I think, not a great attitude. It's really amazing to see so many people here today. I'm a young climate activist from the Northern Beaches, and I just really wanted to tell you quickly about my story and just explain what my group, School Strike for Climate, has planned for the future. And that was kind of the first major event, and I guess the first big wake-up call for me about how bad the climate crisis was the Black Summer bushfires. They're the biggest and most destructive bushfires in Australia's history. Seeing how devastating it was and how much it impacted people's lives, you know, it was eye-opening.
I can remember the smell that really burnt.
No, it was horrible.
Yeah.
My grandparents' second home in the Blue Mountains, the fires had come right up to the end of the street it was on, and like it was literally less than 100 metres that the fire came. It's not just the fact about how close it came, the fire specifically, but I guess the smoke being so bad. Mum has asthma and Daniel does as well, and seeing both of you, you know, struggle to literally breathe it was scary for me. Yeah. I was scared. So it was about a year on from then that we were in Kalbarri when Cyclone Saroja hit. A cyclone shouldn't have happened there. Like, it's a direct result of climate change. And we saw a man die as a result of the cyclone. When you actually see those things for yourself and see the consequences they have, it's devastating. And I find it absolutely reprehensible that those in charge and those who are causing this Even though they see it, they're still prioritising lining their own pockets over protecting human life. And I think that's genuinely evil, and I think it has to stop. It's like erasable chalk paint. It washes off in the rain and it's completely safe and legal. And we use it to write messages on the ground for people to see and to get our message around. If you look at the trajectory that we're on, and with our current emissions reduction plans, we are going to see those worst impacts of the climate crisis. Conversations are one part, but now is the time for action. We're heading up. It's exciting. A bit nervous, but should be good.
I'm nervous too, Chris.
Go. Everybody's nervous. Yeah.
Just not like someone.
You wouldn't be human if you weren't a little nervous. I'm going to actually go down again and see if I can get in around here.
Yep.
Hang around.
We're just we're here to do a little performance.
Oh, sure.
Yep.
I think direct action is probably one of the most important aspects of activism, especially in the modern era. And I think it's something that a lot more of the climate movement needs to adopt. We need to be taking it up right to the big executives and the big politicians, making sure that we are heard.
Hey, my name is Alexa. I'm from Rising Tide, and we are live streaming to you from our Premier, Dominic Paratay's office. So I'm going to pass it over to Chris. He is 15 and has taken the day off school today to teach Paratay a lesson.
Chris for Parliament. Yeah. We need to burn less coal and gas. It might seem really simple, but the less coal and gas you burn, the less emissions we have, and the less climate change. It's as simple as got something for Dominic Paratay here. Report card. He's failed in all areas of climate. So if you could give that to him, he needs to know how bad he's being and he needs to make an improvement.
Coal, don't dig it. Leave it in the ground, it's time to get with it.
A lot of people would say this is some sort of a cult, so to speak, or you're just like all those anti-vaxxers, this is ridiculous, you're overreacting. But the difference here is that we have over 99% of scientists in the world who are agreeing with us. We're calling on the people of New South Wales to vote for a candidate that will actually take meaningful climate action.
I'm a grandmother. I want to see a future for my grandchildren. This is not a joke. Paratay sits up there with his photos surrounded by all his children, as if that's important. If it's important to him, he should stop approving new coal and gas.
I'm just sort of anxious about my future. I don't want to be living in a future where my house is constantly flooded or I need to be running away from bushfires. Being a climate activist, it's sort of an outlet, a release for my anxiety. Often people describe feeling helpless when they're anxious about something, you know, that they feel like they can't change it, but there are things that I can do to actually change it and actually impact the future, and it's what drives me to try and make this change.
So the march route that's suggested is Town Hall up Park Street, goes up to Elizabeth Street, turns north, turn right up there and you're basically at the Supreme Court right there.
We've got a really good lineup of speakers. We've got international media looking at the conference itself and the protests that are happening in Egypt.
We're going to a protest for COP27. COP27 is basically like a meeting of all the world leaders to discuss how we can stop the effects of climate change, but it's super ineffectual and basically just a way for countries to greenwash and make it look like they're doing something when they're actually not. Do you want to put something else sort of in that end part, or do we want to have some sort of like artistic type drawing on the ground or making banners or anything?
We have Coco do some DJing, and Coco's DJing is Greta Thunberg speeches with doof music behind it. It's kind of pretty chill.
I am an optimistic, I think. You know, a lot of people I talk to say, why do you bother doing this? Why do you bother trying? How can one person make a difference? But protesting and activism historically has been the most effective way to make change worldwide. And it starts with a single person, one idea, one thing to change the world. So we've got to be there at 11:15 for the school strike contingent. But if we're a bit late, it's probably fine.
Wait, is it beforehand at the town hall?
Yeah, at the town hall. Like standing as the rally's happening, where do you want me to stand?
Right up the front.
I think it's really important for young people to realise how much power they have and how much authority they actually hold over older generations. Every single young person in the world has the power to change the world right now.